I have 3 2/10, right? 3 2/10. And I want to 3 2/10 divided by 10. I want to make it smaller. Or it's the same thing as saying 3 2/10 times 1/10. Remember, because fractions are division. I'm going to move this how many times and which direction? Come on, say it out loud. Be proud, say it loud and proud. I'm going to move it one jump to the small left. I'm going to move my decimal point one to the left. Now, we all know, and I'm just going to say this because other people might look at these videos and criticize me for teaching incorrectly. We all know that we actually can't move the decimal point. What we're really doing is shifting our place values. But it's a lot easier just to move our decimal point than move all of our numbers, because that would mean erasing everything, and it's just silly. So it's okay if you just ignored everything I just said, okay? Just start the video here, really, is what you really need to do. Okay, so I'm going to move it one time to the left. Smaller, right? Yeah. So I'm going to go boom. And my new number is going to be 32 hundredths. It was 3 2/10. Now it's 32 hundredths because I made it smaller. So this is all a review, hopefully. So today we're going to now focus on the metric side of the measurements. And we talked about meters, liters, and grams. Whoa, meters, liters, grams. Oh, and that's how we're going to start today. So you're going to go to your notebook while we're here, and we're going to do 10 2/10. 10 2/10, lesson 10 2/10. And it's lesson 2, metric conversions. We've already used the metric system a little bit with our science investigations during the year. And so you already kind of know about them. But today we're going to be learning how can we convert and why would we want to convert? Okay, so I'm going to take you off this stand for a minute and hopefully go, and if my cord will follow me, we're going on a field trip around the classroom. Maybe if we don't all get sick from Mrs. Nickerson shaking the phone. Okay. Hi. Oh, well, we're getting a little tangled here. Okay. So yesterday I showed you this bulletin board I made before we left. Well, after you left for spring break, before I left. And do you see where it says up here 1 milliliter? Okay, that is volume or capacity. And some of you guys might have seen these for taking medicine before. When my daughter was first born, she was really tiny, remember? And she was in the hospital for a while. And when they first started feeding her, she was allowed 1 milliliter, one little droplet of food. And then it went up to 2 milliliters. And I remember the day we got to 6 milliliters, and it was a big day. So you can see how small that is, okay? Now, if we look down here, this is a beaker like we've used many times to show water displacement with volume when we drop the marbles in, or when we measure water, when we're measuring for volume in science experiments. This is 100 milliliters. So we went from 10, 1. So can you see my finger? Where's my finger? Okay, you can. So we went from 1 to 10 to 100. And now to 1,000. So this container shows what 1,000 milliliters would look like. But sometimes it's really a pain to talk about big numbers like 1,000. And it's easier just to convert them to a bigger name, which is called liter. Think about pennies. I'm going to show you some in a minute. Now, sad to say, I don't actually have any real money in my classroom, I don't think. So I'm going to use some of this play money. So we have pennies here. Now, we know there's 10 pennies in a dime, 1 dime, right? But do I want to go around carrying all the pennies and dimes, or do I want to just carry around $1? I'd like to carry around $1, right? Now, I will let you know that in my last video, I tried to make it rain money because I thought it'd be cute for you, and it was pathetic. So I scrapped that. So if you would like to take some play money and make it rain at home, you can send me a video of how to do it properly, and I will be glad to try it in my next lesson. But it did not work. Probably because I've never had enough money to make it rain. Oh, okay. So pennies, dimes, dollars, and then we go to $10. And this is just like the place value system. Pretend that this is the decimal point. I got to find something. Ta-da, we're going to do a square decimal point because I've got nothing else right now. Okay, so this is our decimal point. So ones, tens, hundreds, tenths, 100ths, pieces of pennies would be 1/1000ths. So this, do I want to carry around? If I have $10, that would be 10 $1 bills. It's easier to carry around one $10 bill. $10 would be, in dimes, would be 100 dimes, because it takes 10 dimes to make $1, and 10 of those to make 10, so 10 times 10 is 100. Or do I want to carry around 100 pennies makes $1, and I need to jump again 10 times. One jump is 10 times, so 10 times 100 is 1,000. Or do I want to carry around 1,000 pennies? Well, first of all, if you go into a store with 1,000 pennies, how mad are they going to be? I mean, honestly. And would you even have enough space to carry them in your pockets? And would you want to count them all out? Absolutely not. So it's easier to carry dollars or $10 bills. Well, the same is true with the metric system, with measurements. Do we want to say, oh, you need to take 3,250 milliliters of liquid today, or 3 liters and 3.25, 3 and 25 hundredths of a liter? Well, obviously we'd rather do liters, right? So that's why we need to convert. That's why we convert. Okay, now here's the problem of the day is I have to figure out how to hook this back up. Let me just show you what I have here, if I can zoom out. This is my lovely tripod stand, and I have to hook it up with binder clips on a ruler, my phone. It's quite interesting, to say the least. Okay, let me try to get the hook back up. And back to my beautiful face with my aging neck. I'm gonna have to start wearing turtlenecks. Have you ever heard of turtlenecks, guys? You probably don't because you're from Florida, but it goes all the way up to neck. Woo. Okay. So that's metric conversions, and that's why we need to do it. Now, how do we do it? Well, I told you before that it's just, I'm gonna straighten this out there. It's just like the place value system. So I'm going to go ahead and take notes now. And again, remember, I'll put the notes, the PDF of the notes in our lesson. And you can always pause the video and come back another day or do it the same day, okay? So just hold on a second. Let me flip this back over now. Oops, it helps if you don't see it stare at the ceiling. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna zoom in. Okay, so that was yesterday's lesson. Today we started with 10 and 2/10 metric conversions, remember? Okay, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more. There we go, metric conversions. Hopefully that's not too tilted for you. So, I promised you yesterday talking about King Henry. Well, do you know how we do, and I'll show you. You know how we do the planets back there? See? My very educated mother just served us nachos, or PEMDAs, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Those are all mnemonic devices, which is a fancy word for just saying a way to memorize something easily. So we're going to do the same thing with the metric system. So I'm gonna flip you back around. I'm sorry for talking so much, but I think without it talking, it might even be more boring. I don't know. Okay, so we are going to start with King Henry. Now,